Welcome to Coach's Corner, everybody. I'm your host, Coach Tripp. Thanks for watching the show on Saturday. To my left, Billy Owens, great running back safety out of Syracuse. He went to the University of Pittsburgh. Now a longtime teacher, 30 years, coaches basketball and football in the Orlando area, Oak Ridge. Billy, thanks for coming on, buddy.
Hey, thanks for having me.
And your big brother right below us is Duane Owens. That's right, two-sport star at Wake Forest. He's also from Syracuse. They went to CBA, Christian Brothers Academy there in Syracuse, played two sports at Wake Forest. Now still up in Syracuse. Man, thank you, brothers, for being on the show. We're going to have a blast today, man.
Thanks for having us, Paul.
All right, let's start with the older brother. Man, I had three older brothers. So, Billy, I know Duane was you're always trying to keep up with him and his friends. So, Duane, I want everybody to know, talk about your mom and dad and, growing up in Syracuse and how how you got involved in sports.
Sure. Mom was a semi-athlete in high school herself. Played softball, good softball player from what I'm told, and very good cheerleader. Dad was a basketball player, well known in the Onondaga County, Central New York, Syracuse area for his accomplishments in basketball. High school there called Central Tech. He made varsity in the 9th grade, so he's been playing ball. And to be honest, basketball is actually my real sport love, as opposed to football, right? Basketball is the sport I really love, right? So, we grew up in a sport environment. We had an older cousin who played basketball at CBA, Jerry Fomer, played with Marty Head and Earl Belcher, some great ball players around here, and the Sapp brothers, Hiram Sapp and Charlie Sapp. So we've been around sports all of our lives. Playing in the neighborhood, you're playing with some guys, playing pickup basketball, football. And there was one day, one of the older guys had to stop playing, and he said he had to go to practice. And back in those days, when you're young, 8, 9-year-old, you're playing outside all day. Right. Paul, back then.
Yeah. Everybody had a hoop back then.
Everybody had a hoop, and you were out the house early in the morning after you did your chores, and then as long as you got home, pretty much by the street lights, right?
Yeah.
You can be the age of 5 to 15. They let you go like that. So I actually followed these older kids off to Sherman Park, which was a good 2 miles from my home, just goofing around, and they was having football practice. So I was like, hey, how do I play? And unbeknownst to me, the coaching staff at Sherman Park Pop Warner were guys who knew my father, actually worked with him at Chrysler Corporation. I didn't know at the time.
Wow.
All I know is some kids were playing. So before you know it, I'm involved with the drills with them. I'm getting in the drills, and they says, well, how old are you? They says, well, you don't belong here with the big guys. You go over there. You belong over there. And next thing you know, I'm following this crew to practice every day. Again, I'm home before the street lights come on, so moms don't know what's going on. Nobody knows what's going on, right?
Everybody played backyard ball back then, man.
Everybody.
Were those your two sports, football and basketball?
Yeah, football, basketball, and baseball too. And baseball.
Oh, did you?
Yeah. Actually, I broke my nose playing baseball. I swear it was broke. I was playing catcher outside at Billy at Levy Field, and too close to the batter, and the bat came back and busted my nose up. And I don't know if it was broke or not. Back then, we didn't run to the hospital. She put some duct tape on it and said, hey, lay here. I told you don't be doing that since you got your skull in, right? With some duct tape and some gauze bandages,
Noses, man. I just got my nose fixed after 60 years. I probably hammered it back when I was in youth. Baseball. I don't know, baseball. I would rather take out a 300-pound pulling guard than get a fastball at my head or in my nuts. I was just I wasn't into, I was into hockey and basketball and baseball. So you became a two sport, and then Billy's doing multiple sports. When did you know that you were gifted in basketball and football, and how did you talk about your high school team, right? CBA, because you chose football to go to Wake Forest, and then ended up playing basketball there. It's just an amazing story.
Yeah, I mean, again, I'm playing these two sports, my entire life. I'm making the starting teams in basketball. I'm playing, I'm contributing, things of that nature. We go to CBA. Our football team wasn't that good back then, but we're becoming competitive. But in basketball, me and a couple other guys, we're hooping. We're playing against the city league guys, and I know these guys from the city because I play with them all year round, right?
Right.
So in basketball, freshmen we dominated. JVs we did very well. My junior year in high school, we won the sectionals. Paul, you guys had a really good ball player. What was his name? With you in the same class, too? McCarthy or
oh God, we had Joe Zippy, but Pete Holohan was just a couple of years older than us.
He was older than you, but there was a guard with you, Paul, in the class.
Martin Widozinski.
Yeah.
We Joe Zippy. We had a pretty good team, but we didn't have a great coach. Was Bob Velasco your coach, or was it Jack Conroy?
I had Conroy, 7-Up Jack, they called. Yeah, I had Conroy that year. I never had a chance to play under Conroy, but we had Pat Burns and Sabinski and Michael Christie. So we won the sectionals that year. Came in second in our league. And then my senior year, we actually won the city league and lost the sectional championship to West Tennessee. So I was getting little information for basketball, but football was the big boys were coming at me for.
Was 79 your last year? Was that the fall of 79? When did you graduate?
81.
Okay, you were 1 year behind me then.
I'm 1 year behind. I'm 1 year behind you. Yep, 81. Right. Yep.
And then Billy, you graduated in 82?
I graduated in 83.
83?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, Billy, I want to talk about your history. And because you were an amazing two-sport star too, and you're actually getting recruited. And we're going to talk about Joe Riccardi because we wouldn't be sitting here for Joe Riccardi, man. What a guy! What a guy he was, man. I mean, he just opened so many doors for all of us, and he was always,
he recruited that whole area for Alabama.
He did, man. Patterson comes, Richard, T. Rich comes, and then Patterson comes, and you almost got there. Talk about, Billy, your high school and growing up with your older brother, and how you got to be such a great star. I mean, Duane, I don't think you could beat your brother Duane. Versus Auburn, Duane had a 62-yarder, a 72-yarder, a 76-yarder, and a 92-yard kickoff return. D, you only had 6 TDs, and you also got 2 picks on defense.
Yes.
That was a hell of a game.
Were you playing DB on defense, D?
Yeah, I was. I mean, Auburn was actually in first place when we played them, and we played them that day. It was homecoming. And guess what, Paul? We had our SAT exam that morning before we got on the bus. It was a crazy day that day, man. It was crazy.
My God. All right, Billy. Talk about growing up and what sport you love. Was football your first? Do I know basketball was Duane's first?
Well, coming up, and I did Pop Warner also. I started. By the time I got to where I could play Pop Warner, you could play. They had started a younger squad. So, like Duane mentioned, they had the field across the street, Levy, and I remember I would play. The little football with them over there. And but I initially didn't really have a true interest in playing football. We the main thing I played was baseball in the summers. And of course they had the little rec league basketball. And I got into football. I remember Duane and my dad took me up to Sherman Park, which he was already playing. And we got out the car, and then they used to, I don't know if used to play toss-up tackle. You know, where you toss the ball up and everybody run around. And I think it was like the first day. And so while we was doing that, you know, I drifted out there and playing toss up tackle with everybody else. And Dwayne and my dad took off. And then that's how I actually started playing. You know, I just sort of hung with the little group, and we started the first little team there. They had the first time they was having a younger group. And that was my first time playing. And with Sherman Park had a lot to do with me playing. You know, I did Sherman Park baseball, Sherman Park football, Pop Warner football. Yep. So, you know, we was a product, you know, I was a product of Sherman Park. And you know, a lot of the fellas that I hung around, all of them played baseball and football. We all, you know, up north, everybody is a multi-sport guy.
Right.
Yeah. You know, so I did the baseball and football and rec league basketball all the way up until high school. And then when I to high school, I didn't originally go to CBA. Originally in the 9th grade, I went to Nottingham High School. Yeah, and I was there for about half a year. And so I had stopped playing baseball by that time, but I played basketball. I played the JV basketball team. I played football there too. I played JV football and basketball. Yeah. And you know, about halfway through the season, originally in football, I had played Pop Warner running back the whole time, running back and defensive back. And when I got to Nottingham, they moved me to wide receiver.
Oh, wow. Except when it was 3rd and long.
Yeah, so they would
put him in at running back.
Yeah, when we would be losing, we had a pretty good squad. Yeah. But when we would be losing, then in the 4th quarter they might move me to running back, and if I might break a touchdown here or there, sort of save the day type of thing. But that following Monday, I would be right back at receiver. So. I remember one time we played Bishop Ludden, and same thing happened. We losing. They put me at running back in the 4th quarter. I break 2 little long runs. And then that Monday, they put me right back at receiver. And I remember when he was calling out and telling us what positions to go to. Once he told me to go to receiver, that was my last day playing football at Nottingham.
That's because you walked off the field.
I had walked. Once he said go to receiver, I said, you know, that was just my last day. I took my little equipment off, and my father used to be up. My father had told me this was going to happen, so he would come by to practice. I took my little equipment off and just marched right up the hill. And you know, we took off from practice, and then I had transferred over after that. At the halfway point of the school year, I transferred over to CBA, and then the rest was sort of history. I didn't play sports the rest of that year, but that following year, of course, you know, Dwayne was there. I was a 10th. I sort of liked it because I got to play with my older brother, and he was going to be a senior. I was a sophomore.
Oh,
yeah, and we also had Bobby Kittle, little fire plug type of guy. And it ended up we ended up that season. That the beginning of that season is that Auburn game you talking about. And then we ended up playing Nottingham, the school I was at the first high school football game in the Carrier Dome.
Oh wow!
Yeah, in the playoffs.
That was the first year they started playoffs. Paul up in here.
Yep.
The first year they started football playoffs.
Yep, 1979. Yeah. So, we played Henniger for the first Section 3 championship ever.
Gotcha. Yeah. So we did that, and then Dwayne has sort of I would say sort of paved the way for me a little bit, because when he came through, he had quite a few schools looking at him. Just about all the ACC schools was looking at him.
Right.
And then by the time of course, I was in the 10th grade at that particular year. And, you know, some of the schools was like, hey, who is this other guy? And the time I became a senior, I of course had several of the ACC schools looking at me, but then I had, sort of springboard from there. I had, once one school look at you, you get a whole bunch of them looking at you. Right. So we had Joe Riccardi that we talked about. Joe Riccardi, was Alabama. That was my first recruiting trip. Really the first time I've been on a plane, a whole bunch of firsts for me when I went to Alabama.
Was that November of '82 when
that was
right before the Auburn game?
That was right. That was early December. It was the week before. Whenever they played Auburn, the week before that they had a bye.
Talk about going, because Coach Bryant retired 13, like a week and a half later on my birthday, December 14th. He retired.
Right. So I went down
just a couple weeks later, and then he died a month after that. Talk about that meeting you had with Coach Bryant.
So I went down. It was me and we went that particular weekend. It was me and another recruit from Memphis. It was just us two there that weekend. And I remember we went, and I just had a super difficult time. I had only been in Syracuse. The language, I could not understand what he was saying. So I remember we was in his office and we sitting there, me and the guy, and the Bill Bryan says, well, you can ask me anything you want. Ask me whatever you want. And so I'm looking at the other recruit because I can't understand. Bill Bryan said to me, he was saying to me, you can't understand the word I'm saying. But I asked him to repeat it like about 3 or 4 times. And then he said it real slow. You can't understand a word I'm saying. And I was like, yes, you are correct.
Oh my God.
You are correct. Yes.
That reminds me of my father came down. My father came down for practice, and he walked across the whole practice, from the tunnel all the way to the practice fields. He walked with Coach Bryant, and I said, what did Coach Bryant say? I saw you walking with him. And he said, didn't understand anything.
One thing he said. Right.
The only thing I understood was, you got a good boy there.
Yeah.
That's all he heard.
It was that bad, huh?
But I tell you what,
Dwayne. Yeah, it was really bad.
That he coached from that tower, and I remember being at one of the practices, and at that time, they had the hostess that picked me up from the airport. She was at the practice. I was on the sideline with me and the recruit and the hostesses more than paying attention to the football. But I remember he asked us to come up in the tower.
Oh.
So we got to go up into the tower. And again, up there, it's amazing. Like, I couldn't understand him. But I swear, from that tower, and he wasn't speaking into a microphone or anything, he said something in his regular tone of voice. And them coaches way down in the field could hear him.
Oh, is that right?
And his regular tone of voice from the tower. He said something.
Really? What did you think about the intensity of the practices there?
Practices was super intense. And then they did something too, where, like, if a guy made a mistake in practice or they felt he wasn't being physical enough, it's almost like they would stop the practice, and they had this thing. I don't know if it was like a bull in the ring type of thing, but they made the dude go one-on-one in practice. I was like, oh, wow, this like in the middle of practice. They stopped, dude miss a tackle in the middle of practice. They stopped the practice, do like a circle up. And I was like, oh, this is some serious stuff here. This is some serious, they not playing around. But the thing I was amazed about most was how I could not understand him.
Yeah.
And he almost, like I say, he talked, it's almost was like a whisper to me, and they could hear him on that field. And when he opened his mouth, they jump right to it. They jump right to it.
Who was the quarterback? Number 10. Who was that quarterback though?
Walter Lewis.
Yes. Because when Alabama recruited me, they were still running the wishbone, so they was recruiting me as a running back.
Right.
And then when I came back, and of course, like you say, he passed away. When Ray Perkins came in, they continued to recruit me. But I remember talking to Coach Perkins, and they were going to move me to receiver, and he was going to bring in a pro style offense.
Right. Exactly.
Yeah, and that was one of the reasons, because before that, I would say I was probably 75, 80%. That was my first trip. I had liked it. I was going to go to Alabama. And I remember when Bill Bryant passed, I remember, my dad saying the situation is not the same anymore. He said they probably gonna move you. It's gonna be a whole new coaching staff recruiting you. And sure enough, soon as we talked to Coach Perkins, right off the bat, they moved me to receiver, and my dad was like, "I told you, new staff."
Well, that was the same thing I went through at Wake. He probably was. I went through the same thing, Paul, at Wake, and he probably was reflecting on that, Bill, because
oh, that's right. That's right, Duane. Yeah, you got your position changed at Wake. Talk about that.
Well, it wasn't a position change, but the coaching staff changed.
Yeah, that's right.
John McElvick recruited me, and he had he had big plans. So I thought, right? But then on my way there, Al Groh took over, so a new coaching staff came in. Al didn't change my position, but it was always an uphill battle for me dealing with Al, and Al trying to get his recruits. And at one point, I was going to leave and go to another school. And me and my father, we was talking about that. I don't know if you remember that, Billy, at the time, probably not. But I was thinking about going up to Boston College or YM or a couple other schools. But then I decided to go back because I love the area. But I bet Dad drew on that experience, Bill. It was like new coaching staff comes in, everything.
Yeah, absolutely. We all had a new coaching staff. I had Coach Ryan to Coach Perkins, and we're all from Syracuse. We all love Syracuse. My father went to Syracuse. I wanted to go to Syracuse. My teammates went to Syracuse. My coach went to Syracuse. How did all three of us get away from Syracuse and go play other places?
Well, I think I think my dad always used to say, especially when my brother was gone, that he preferred us to grow up. He said that in order to grow up, you need to go to school sort of away from. You don't need to be where you can come home every time something go bad or something.
Yes,
you just come to the house.
Oh, your dad was brilliant. What wisdom your dad had.
Yeah. So when Duane went off to school, and of course I'm the younger brother is always learning from the older brother. So I learned some things. I know sometimes Duane might call home, say, "Hey, let me speak to Dad," and he he need this or need that, and of course I'm just picking up these nuggets as I go.
Right.
And so I think that helped me a lot when I went off to Pitt. I was sort of prepared to be away from home, and I knew some of the things to look out for.
Oh, there's no doubt. There's no doubt in my mind that if I stayed at Syracuse, I would have been dead or in jail or maybe dead injured. I mean, there's so much. I'm so thankful. Every time I have O'Leary on my show, I'm like, thank you for not bringing me up to Syracuse.
Oh, he got mad at me, O'Leary.
Yeah.
I tell you, he hung up the phone on me.
No, what happened?
Oh, man, he heard I signed with Wake. He called the house, and I so happened to pick up the phone. And Coach O'Leary, he don't miss no words. He was
no, he doesn't.
Son, you're making the biggest mistake of your life. Click.
Yeah.
Never forget
now,
that.
I didn't when I went, I think after Syracuse and dealing with Duane, and he went to Wake Forest. Of course, I came out with Hank Flournoy. I came in that class.
Oh yeah, with Hank. Yeah.
And on my I know they had the summer, the little camp up there where they had the little football players come up. You know, me, Hank, Harold Gaden, the quarterback, McPherson. We all were in camp together. But I remember the big hang up with me was that I didn't want to take an official visit. You know what I mean? But I had been a ball boy. A lot of people don't know. I had been a ball boy for Syracuse University for 3 years.
Oh, I'm glad you brought that up. I wanted to ask you about that.
Basketball.
So yes, I've been a ball boy for basketball, and so I knew Boeheim well. So they actually had Boeheim talk to me about the visit, but believe it or not, Boeheim was in agreement with me. Boeheim didn't understand why they wanted me to take an official visit when I'm up on campus all the time. I was up there all the time. I knew all the places, and then of course you know, him and Bernie Fine was the ones that gave me they pulled me in. I think they know my dad, and them the ones that gave me the ball boy job.
Oh wow!
Well, you got to tell them the backstory on that, Bill. I don't know if you remember, right? So Paul, you know Manley Fieldhouse, right?
Right.
How it's round, right?
Yeah.
So back then we lived in the neighborhood, and all of our friends lived in the neighborhood. So we would put money together. Billy was much younger, so he didn't know we were put our 50 cents together, 75 cents, $2 together, and buy one ticket to the basketball game. And we count the doors around the arena. And he would tell us what door he's going to hit from the inside. And we would grab the door we would all rush to that door, grab the door, and run in, and bum rush the ushers. And that's how we got in SU basketball games for years, right?
Oh, that's beautiful, man. That's beautiful.
So 1 year we do it, and I got my little brother with me, and he gets caught by the ushers. You remember that, Bill?
Mm-hmm.
He gets caught by the ushers, right? So we're up there. That was our playground. Again, we live in the neighborhood, so we know the players knew us, right?
Yeah.
So the ushers got him jacked up by the coat, by his collar, as the hoop team is coming out, and Boeheim and them coming out, and the players like, "Yo, what you doing? Hey, Boeheim, hey, wait a minute, come with us. What are you doing? You got them jacked up." So that's how Boeheim, Bernie, and the players. It was like they have them jacked up while the players are coming out, getting ready to go into the warm up line, and they seen them there.
Oh, Billy, man, that must have been a blast being the ball boy in Syracuse.
Without a doubt. Without a doubt. Louis Orr used to be one of my favorite guys.
Louis Orr and oh my God. You got any stories about the hoops? Because I love Boeheim. I played golf with him. He kicked my ass in golf.
Oh, did he?
Yeah. I think I shot a 75 or 76, and he beat me by like 3 strokes.
Oh, nice. Nice.
Well, Louis Orr, and Eddie Moss, them used to be my 2 guys who would always, because I used to hang out up there so much that I would even be at several of the practices just before I became a ball boy.
Yeah, that was
but Louis Orr is really the one who went to Bernie and he went to Bernie and Coach Boeheim, and he made it happen so that I could get the ball boy job.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Wow. He made it.
Yeah.
What you didn't know was Louis Orr was dating our aunt.
Yeah. Now that part, I was too young. I didn't know all of that.
You had an inside track on that one.
Yeah. I didn't know all of that. You know. I thought it was out of me just nagging them so much at practice.
Well, of course, that too.
Yeah. So I still remember all the stuff that Boeheim used to do, and Boeheim had to deal like his little punishment deal, almost like when I said Bear Bryant had the guys circle up. Boeheim had to deal where they would hold 2 bricks. And they had to shuffle side to side across the lane.
Oh, wow.
And they had to hold them bricks up and keep them bricks up. And if they let them bricks go down past a certain level, he started them all over again.
Oh, man.
So I still remember that drill. And I sort of incorporate that into my little high school with some of the stuff we do with some of the kids. I got a little shuffle drill
Oh
similar
man,
to that.
that's right, folks. Billy coaches basketball and football. He helps out actually with Victor Floyd, West folks, but Oak Ridge. He's been coaching basketball there for years. Yeah, that's funny that you mentioned that because you're great coaches. I want to hear about you guys champions. Who was your coach in your corner in college? Duane, who was it at Wake Forest that had your back? How did you go? And how did you go from football to basketball at Wake Forest?
Yeah, man, my coach in football at Wake was coach. Who would I say that?
Lost him a little bit. Okay, can you hear me?
Yeah.
There was a coach, Bernie Metapace. He was actually like a new grad assistant coach. Him and Pete Watson. They were two grad assistant coaches that eventually, as I became juniors and seniors, they were position coaches, right? Yep. And those guys really, they're around the grad assistants bar. They're around the locker room a lot more than the head coaches. They're around the dorms a lot more. And he really worked with me because he understood after my freshman year, Coach Grove, he had a chance to bring his recruits in. He was like, hey, we're going to move you to deep. And I was like, no, don't. Let me stand running back, but put me at the depth chart of number 6. And sure enough, he put me at deep in the depth chart, but I worked my way up to the starting position. I started every game. And those coaches really supported me. They seen my fight there. But again, my love was basketball. So I hung around all summer. And I played basketball with the basketball players.
Oh my gosh!
Yeah. So the Wake Forest had an excellent basketball team right there. They were always top 5 in the ACC, top 4.
Right.
So I'm hanging around with literally playing ball every day with the starting point guards and the starting forwards, and they see I can play, right? So one of their starters busted his ankle up real bad. And they had 3 or 4 other guards on the bench, but for some reason they went to the coach and said, Coach, and they must have had a lot of influence. Listen, you got to put Duane on the team, see if he would join. And at first I was like, overexcited. Yeah, I'll join. And it was halfway through the season. Guy had got hurt, and I joined the team. And then the following year, they asked me to join the team from the start. But Paul, you know how football, and you and Billy understand how football is really a job.
Right? Yes.
Yep.
So I had just got back from the Canadian Football League. I had got released from them. So I was going to finish up my 5th year, get my degree. I wanted to be a college student for a little while.
Right.
So they were like, come join because season starts in October. Come on. And I was like, please, I'll join the team if you let me get to Christmas. I'll join the team after Christmas. And sure enough, the coach and staff and the players said, yes, we'll go for that if you join the team after Christmas again. So I wind up playing again with them. And
wow. Did you play in the Did you play in the postseason with that team?
Yeah, we played in the NIT the year I was in there in the postseason. Yep. We got to the second round there. I did not get to the year before. I did not get to the NCAA with them, and they went pretty far too.
Yeah.
Wow. So, basketball was a lot of fun. I mean, you didn't have the pressures of starting. You didn't have to. You weren't the main guy, so you got a lot of leeway, right?
Holy cow! What was your most memorable Duane moment in college? I know you might run. Was it running back, or was it hoops, or what? What do you remember? Maybe a game, because games they all run together after a while, right? Yeah. But you do remember moments. You do remember great moments.
Yeah.
What was your great moment?
Here's a not so great moment, but I'll never forget it. I'm starting tailback for Wake Forest football team as a freshman. I'm the starting tailback.
Wow.
We're playing Death Valley, Clemson, who's got the number one defense in the nation. And actually, this year, they actually won the national title. So we're playing against the future national title team.
Oh, yeah. Yep.
I'm down in Death Valley. So they call a pass play. I'm at tailback. My responsibility was to check to see if the linebacker blitz. If he blitz, I pick him up. If he don't, I flare out to the flat like a safety valve. Well, we were always in trouble with that number one defense. The quarterback scrambles, throws me the pass in the flat for the safety valve. I'm looking at the ball in the air. Next thing I know, I wake up in the locker room. They said, damn, we surprised you still alive. The refrigerator ran through your chest. I said, what happened? Right? He said he ran through your chest. I go to sort of chuckle, and my whole chest is like aching and bruised ribs, right? Later, I develop a black eye. I'm like, so that's one of my memorable moments.
Welcome to major college football. I'll tell you an embarrassing moment too, man. That I had a lot of great moments at Bama, but it was Coach Bryant's last year and second game of the year against Ole Miss, and they're lining up and they're moving the ball on us midfield. Coach Bryant's mad. He takes the whole first string defense out. Second string defense, get in there. Well, the first play, I'm right in front of Coach Bryant, right on the sidelines, and they throw a slant to my guy. I was playing cornerback. Well, I read the 3-step drop. I broke it, man, broke the ball, broke the pass up. Out come the flag, right? I got there a split second early. Coach Bryant, damn it, everybody out. All 11 guys out after one play. I felt like digging a hole and crawling in it. Those are memorable moments you don't forget. Billy, man. Billy, talk about Pitt and your champion, a coach at Pitt that, had your back all the time. Because, sometimes, like my position coach, I just went up to his reunion in Tuscaloosa. I actually had him on my show a couple months ago. Nice. We didn't always see eye to eye, man. My position coach and I, but somehow we worked through it over the years, and I ended up starting. Who was your champion? Who was your coach, assistant coach, maybe Billy, that always had your back?
Well, I think we had two staffs, because Foles Fazio was the original one that recruited me.
Right.
And then Mike Godfrey came in.
Ooh.
And so on that first year, I think it was probably a blessing and a curse to be able to play offense and defense well. So when I first came in as a running back, of course, they had Chucky Scales, who was a parade All-American. And I think they probably knew they was going to give him first crack at running back all along.
Right.
So I moved to free safety because I could play that equally as good. And I was backing up Tom Flynn.
Okay.
And about halfway through the season, they got down to just 2 running backs. And so they switched me over to running back. And so one of my most memorable moments, I got probably 2 plays. And one is once they had switched me over to running back, I might have been practicing for maybe about a week or 2 at the running back spot. But in the Louisville game, they had, we had the game in hand near the fourth quarter. And Fazio, I had been doing good in the scrimmages. And Foles Fazio was like, hey, Owens, should we put Owens in? Andy Urbanek was the running back coach. And Andy Urbanek was like, I don't know if he know all the plays. And so Foles Fazio, he called me over to him. I run over to him. He said, you know all the plays? And naturally, I'm going to say yes. Right. He said, but Coach Urbanek said he don't know all the plays. And so Foles Fazio said, I tell you what, we're only going to do running plays when you win, which of course I'm fine with that. So, but I broke one. I broke a long run against Louisville. My first game in college, getting in as a running back.
Yep.
And I remember on the little talk show, you know how they had the talk show every Sunday or whatever.
Yeah.
And I still remember them saying, hey, this Owens guy, where has he been all season? And I remember Foles saying, we've been working with him. We've been working with him.
I've been
You
right
know,
here.
right,
I've been right here.
right. Actually, I was only there. And then probably the coach, I would say, not that staff, but the Mike Godfrey's staff. John Fox was the defensive coordinator, but he was also the DB coach.
Oh, okay.
And he was the defense coordinator / DB coach. And I would say that is the guy who in college had my back. You know, he
Wow.
came to me when they came in, and you know, they came in and we had the winter workouts, and that's when they was just meeting everybody. And I remember they came to Fox pulled me to the side because at that time I had switched my number. My freshman year, my number was 35, but by the time they came in, my number had got switched to number 1.
Mm-hmm.
And they wanted to know, Coach Liggins, who was the running back coach, and Godfrey wanted to know who was 35. They wanted to know who was number 35. Is he still here? And I remember Fox pulling me over to the side during winter workouts and said, hey, I know you was number 35. He said, but if you want to play strong safety, which is a position I had never played before, you will get first crack in spring ball. You're going to start out number 1 strong safety. And so that's how I became a strong safety. I said, of course, you know, at Pitt, if you ever get a chance to start, you're going to take it.
Yes.
Oh my gosh, Billy, that's a great story, man. Because
so that's how I became DB. Mm-hmm.
You became a DB again,
right?
You know what? A friend of mine here in Pensacola, Florida, Dave Valeto, when I switched from cornerback to strong safety, he likes to tell the story that I was livid, I was pissed, I was this, I was that. But that was my natural position, strong safety. And you got switched to strong safety. Right after your junior year. You made 88 tackles your senior year. You had 3 INTs. And against Pitt, you had a 69-yard pick, 6 picks. Or at Pitt, you had a 69-yard pick 6 to beat Penn State 10-0.
Right, which might have been my most memorable moment. Probably right there. That sort of solidified stuff. It sort of made my, you know, it made the whole time at Pitt worth it. You know, all that I had been through with the rehab, knee rehab, and all of that is sort of culminated with that play. That was a good play for me.
Wow, Billy, that's so amazing, man. I didn't start till my senior year, and I was at strong safety, and Penn State was not easy to beat. No. But my senior year, I remember beating them in Birmingham 6-0.
Wow.
Mm-hmm. 6-0. You guys beat them 10-0.
Right. And it was 3-0, and they were driving. They had just got the ball. They actually, if they would have completed that pass, they would have been in field goal. They would have been in field goal range.
What was the pass? Talk about the play.
It was they got a first down. They completed a long play, maybe 15, 20 yards. And so they got the ball on the other side of the 50.
Uh-huh.
So now it was just a matter of them getting in position to try to kick the field goal to tie it up. And I remember they was on they probably was on like they probably was like on like the 45 or something like that. And then I remember they were on near side. They was on near hash, the hash towards their sideline.
Uh-huh.
And they was, of course, when they completed the first down, they tried to jump into like a hurry up. Hurry up offense. And so we hustle up, we get in position, and they tried to throw the out route to the long side of the field. And I, of course, was the flat defender. And I just broke right underneath it, ran into the house. And that year, we were the 4th rated defense in the nation.
Holy cow.
Yeah. So our defense with John Fox, we was number 4 in the nation. So
Wow.
it sort of fit how our team was. We was super reliant on our defense. Of course, we had Craig Hayward, so we're gonna pound you on offense with Craig Hayward,
Right.
and then we're gonna let the defense, almost like the Bucks used to be when they won that Super Bowl, where the offense was adequate and the defense gonna put you in position to win the game.
Yeah, that's Coach Bryant's philosophy all his years.
Bend but don't break, huh?
Wow, that's amazing, man. That's a beautiful story. Holy cow. All right, let's talk quickly about Joe Riccardi, man. That guy helped me tremendously.
Yeah.
He helped Todd Richardson, Trent Patterson,
Ray Seals.
Yeah, Ray Seals. Thank you for Ray. God rest his soul, Ray Seals. Yeah, he helped Ray Seals become an NFL player, and he didn't do it for any money or any notoriety, or he just knew what he was talking about, man. He just wanted to help. He just wanted to help those kids in that area.
Yes, and he had a love for Alabama. He had a love for Crimson Tide football.
Yeah, he does.
Yes.
Yeah, he still does.
He still does.
He still does. Yeah, I talk to him every week now, man. So he just had. So we thought prayers are for him. He just had a knee replacement surgery, but
okay.
Wow, man, what a show, man. Hey, do you guys so tell Victor Floyd that Coach Mark Hobley said hello, and I'd love to get.
Oh, we'll do.
Yeah, and thanks guys for doing this. Do you guys have any advice for young coaches or players that? I know your dad gave great advice. And when I went to Alabama, it was expensive because I was walking on. I didn't get a scholarship. And my parents never, ever once said it was too much money. They just sent 3 kids to college.
Wow.
And so your parent, our parents were very wise. And do you guys have any advice for the younger guys, or do you guys have any suggestions on who we should get on this show?
I would say for young players, and really in both sports, basketball and football, I would say to work, because now they don't do as much. The avenue we had, they don't really have the avenue, like say for basketball, for instance, to go to the park and play a bunch of pickup games, and they don't do any of that stuff anymore. Nope. So there's not a lot of places where these guys can play and get some of that. I call it on the job training. There's nothing like playing to get you better.
Right.
But I would tell them young guys to really home in on their skill development, and to try to find places where you can play. And everybody calls themselves a trainer nowadays. So I would say that, if you evaluating them trainers, you need to find some trainers that can create an environment, or a trainer that some of these trainers, they get guys together and they create some pickup games where that's sort of incorporated into their training.
Right.
They need to have that, and I just think there's now this whole NIL thing has added a whole new flavor to how sports with young people is working. Yeah. And some of the guys, I think you just need the focus now is so much on the money. You might want to focus first on being good at what you do.
Right. Create value for yourself.
The other stuff is gravy. Right. Yeah, the other stuff is gravy. You need to focus on. A lot of them want to get paid before you good enough to get paid.
Right. Exactly.
Right. You might want to focus on your skill and your trade and perfect that first before worrying about that other side. If you worry about that other side too much, you're never going to get to the point where you deserve that money anyway.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Good point.
Yeah.
Good point.
Yeah.
Duane,
hey, you know what?
You got final thoughts?
Yeah. Two things.
Okay.
First, my advice to coaches, players, assistants, everything is to embrace student athletes playing multiple sports, even at the younger age. I think they're getting so isolated. Their athleticism is weaning. I think basketball helps your football. Football helps your baseball. Baseball helps, play lacrosse. Embrace playing multiple sports overall.
Yes.
And you'll have fun too. You'll learn to appreciate whatever you fall. I really think you may already have. I'm not sure, Paul, but you got to get Joey on. Joey Riccardi on the show. Bring Drew back. Bring a couple of the fellas back. You got to. Maybe you have. I'm not sure, but I recommend. I mean, we said it already. Joey's just a nice guy, and he's the conduit between us right here and so many others.
Yeah,
and then of course you get Vic on, and you get Victor Floyd on, and maybe we hang out with Sammy Smith sometime too. You might want to get him on also.
Oh, I'd love to, man. I'd love to. Man. It's great advice from both you guys. Duane, thank you for mentioning that. I don't think guys should specialize in high school. I think
once you got a ton of that.
You learn so much. I'm a big, solid recruiters know that multiple sports kids are on it, and those guys, Victor Floyd, and we'll shame him into Joe into coming on the show.
Yeah, we'll get Joe. I'll go have coffee with him. I'll go have some espresso with him and talk.
Go tell him.
All the boys.
Billy, Duane, it was a real joy seeing you guys and reminiscing about this story. Thanks for telling your stories.
Okay, thanks for having us.
Have a good one. God bless you guys. So long.
God bless.
All
right.
Wow. Holy cow. Brother Duane and Billy Owens, just Syracuse icons. They should be in the Syracuse Hall of Fame. What's going on up there? Anyway, thanks for watching the show, everybody. I hope you enjoyed it. And stay tuned for these important messages. Without these great sponsors, this just wouldn't be possible. If you like the podcast, make sure you share it. Subscribe to my YouTube channel. And thanks for watching. Have a great sports weekend, everybody. So long.
There's a reason why Hill Kelly in Pensacola is the #1 selling Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram dealer between Jacksonville and New Orleans. While other dealers have taken advantage of a competitive market with higher prices, Hill Kelly has discounted prices to the lowest of the year. And Hill Kelly in Pensacola won't surprise you with excessive charges beyond the selling price. Come see why people from Milton, Pace, Foley, Bay Minette, Daphne, Gulf Shores, Mobile, and beyond are driving to Hill Kelly in Pensacola to buy their next new Chrysler, Dodge, Jeep, or Ram. At Hill Kelly, the bottom line price and your satisfaction are what really matter. So before you sign, check the bottom line and make the trip to Hill Kelly in Pensacola to see what true local ownership can do for you. At Hill Kelly Chrysler, Dodge, Jeep, Ram, Highway 29 in Car City, Pensacola. Or shop online 24/7 at hillkellydodge.com. When it comes to bottom line pricing, nobody beats a Hill Kelly deal. Nobody.
That's you trying to fix the plumbing yourself to save a few bucks. Doing things yourself doesn't always end well. The same goes for insurance. That's why Auto Owners works with local independent agents who tailor coverage to meet your needs and offer discounts for life, home, car, and business insurance. Because sometimes you need a professional to get the job done right. That's simple human sense.
Are you riding around in a filthy vehicle? Dirty car no more. Visit Ronnie's Car Wash today to get it shining in no time. They have 3 convenient locations with another coming soon. The unlimited monthly wash packages start as low as $14.95 per month with free vacuums, multi-purpose spray, and towels. Visit them in Gulf Breeze, Navarre, Fort Walton, and soon Crestview. Don't wait. Wash today. Be sure to see Ronnie's Car Wash on Facebook to see the latest specials and discounts. You'll be riding and shining in no time.
75 years of service and high tech today. It's Pensacola Glass Company at 433-8348. High tech is a term often applied to advanced services and products in today's marketplace. And today, glass is much more than a simple pane of brittle, see-through stuff we hit baseballs through when we were kids. Glass is now a product with unique flexibility in both performance and application. And Pensacola Glass Company is growing right along. That's Pensacola Glass Company at 433-8348.